Hello everyone, this is Charlie from Charlie CBG's Cigar Box Guitars. It's been a while since I've been on. I've been kind of doing some honeydew chores around the house. And it's been, I haven't been feeling too good, so I'm feeling a lot better now. I'm going to get back on my two guitars I'm trying to build. Let me see here. Okay, so here's my guitar. Everything's installed except the strings. Alright, I got my ground under there for my coil pickup. My pawn shop, single coil. I got all the pieces, I got her screwed together. Alright, I done wrote on there. I sort of predated it. Well, I dated it, but I'm not quite finished. I got the feeling bad, so. Now I got to make my bridge, right? So, I got my little box here that I put, my bridge wood is what I call it, but it's just scrap pieces. Pieces I get from the boxes, the little pieces I cut off. Right, I save all that so that I can make a bridge for my guitars later. Now on this one, I want to cut it to the right height. So, and I'm going to put a little fret on it. So what I did was put my tape on there. Then I take my piece of wood. Right, so the tape is riding on the frets. And I know this one's a 25.5-inch scale, so there's a piece of wood right about there. Can't hold the camera in this. But what I did was I put the wood up against it. And then I marked it. And then I cut it off on the bandsaw to the right depth. And then I'll take my fretting saw and I gotta cut it down to smaller pieces. Then I'll take my fret saw and I'll cut it and I'll put a fret on there, and that should get her pretty close to the height I'm gonna need, right? Might be a little high, but that's the best. You always want it to be a little high so you can sand it off and make it smaller down there. You can always lower it, you just can't raise it. All right. Hello, so I finally got my bridge built here. So what I got, two pieces now. I'm gonna put the strings on it. I'm gonna glue this one up a little forward so I'm not covering up so much of the artwork. Right. I cut this out of a piece of wood that I got from inside one of the boxes, along with this one, and I put a jumbo fret on there. Then I've sanded this down so it'll be the correct height. So what I got here is, you want your strings. I use a nickel for my action. I put it on the number 12, and then I get my straight edge. And that's right at my 25.5. And there it is. It's pretty close. It's not exact on the low end over here though. It's touching, which is fine because the smaller strings don't vibrate as much as the fatter ones. So I need a little more room on this top end for my bigger string. Now, what I have to do, so I'm gonna glue that together, put that on there. I want to put it to the front so I'm not covering up too much of my artwork here on the box. Okay, put it like that. And then I can move it a little bit and I'm not covering up the artwork. And so that'll give me my action. I've got we use the acoustic strings on here because I got the piezo and I got the whole, so I want sort of an acoustic sound, even though I got this single coil here, pickup. And so I've got 42 for my fat one, my 30, and a 20. I think this is a 20 for the high string. But first, what I want to do is I want to notch my bone nut here where the strings are going to fit on here so that they don't move. Right? You want them to be settled. And I'll have to get a tension bar to put on here to drag them down to pull them tight on this. I don't have I think I want to use a black one. I have a chrome one. I don't know if I want to use that or not. Before I put the strings on though, I gotta notch that out. And I have got this, which gives you the standard strings, and it fits right across your neck here. There's a notch for each one. I personally am going to give it a little more space. Alright, so the notches are more to the inside. So I'll put the center one in. Let me get some tape. Anything will move on you. I don't want it moving. Okay, so I got this from mgbguitars.com. So I'd have basically I get my center notch. Right, and then I using the outside edge of the outside notch because I want my strings to be the same distance apart, but I want to give myself a little room for fat fingers. And I can make them the standard, right? There you go, that's marked. Where'd my knife go? I'm getting a little unorganized toward the end here. There it should be. So I got this. As you can see, these here, the notches on this one are a 0.4 inch, and then the notches for a 4-string are 0.3. And this is a standard 1.5 inch width here for the neck. So I move it right to the outside edge here to get those strings out a little further apart on the neck here. And then I have my diamond files. And I like this one, the little rectangle on the diamond file. Put a measure that, make another mark down there towards the end. Okay, I got this little tip cleaner kit. Can't remember who I bought this from, but it's got all these little files here, and I don't want to make my notches too big, because then the string coming over, even if I pull it down, will make a little vibrate right there, and it'll make it hum a little bit. Now this one I got taped and I got it marked 46. So I usually start with that one on the large, on the top string here, which is actually a 42. And then file that down, making the notch a little bigger. Then I pick one tad bit smaller, at least I'm hoping it is. That ain't it. That looks bigger too. A little smaller. A tad bit smaller. So take the smallest one. Next size down. This is this middle one, which is a 30. down inside. Yes, cleaner here. That little wood oil here I use. I got from CB Getty. Clean it up a little bit. Get them scratches out. Hope the notches are okay. Tip cleaner, weld mark. This is for welding tool, right? Use these to make your notches in your bridge, what do they call it? I forget what it's called. Okay, as we continue with this here saga in episode 10, I'm working on my discipleship, and I found out that the edge of the corner of the box had started to come apart, so I put a little super glue This is where my toothpicks come in handy. Well, first I use the liquid, ultra liquid super glue, and I spread it apart and poured it down inside, right? So that it would go down into the deep part. And then I took my control super glue, which is kind of like more of a gel, and I put that on my toothpick, and I put it underneath the edges so I could get it all the way up to the edge of the box. And when I put it in there, I kind of roll it in there. Then I put this little clamp on here for a while so to make it set. And then I also noticed that my box has, well, paper has started to come up, and I can show you that, what I do on that, because I like to save as much of the artwork as possible on some of these boxes. Some of them I can't, so I just have to do something else. So I take this and the toothpick. So this little edge is coming up, right? You can see it right there. That's why I like this gel. It's got, you can control it. It just doesn't go everywhere. And you keep it on the toothpick. So put a little on the edge of the toothpick. Then I kind of roll it up underneath there. Cover all the surface area. Wipe off some of the excess. And then I can use the toothpick, say like this, and roll that thing down and hold it. Baby down, keeping pressure on it. And the paper towel. Got a little glue on there. I'll have to wipe that off after I get done. I like this little wood oil. Get some of that. I'll have to spray everything with a little lacquer after I'm done. That is fixed, and then I've got this coming together. Right. See, I only had, I got 4 more of these. I was hoping to use them on another box, but I might have to put them on this inside here to protect these corners. They look a little delicate. Which is a possibility. So I got my bridge done. Okay, so on this one, what I found out when I was done is my strings didn't quite line up from the front from the nut to my tailpiece there, my hinge. So I had to move the hinge over back this way to align everything up as the center of my neck. I don't know how I got off and might have done it. I don't know. Sometimes I make mistakes when I measure. You can measure twice and still make a mistake. So I had to move the neck back to the center. What was that? 3/32, which, so I had to take it off. I took everything off. I took the tailpiece off, and then I re-drilled the holes that were holding the hinge on. And I drilled them out to 1/8 of an inch, and I used my 1/8 inch dowel, and I refilled them holes, right, with a little super glue and a little hammer, and I banged them down in there and then cut them off smooth with the box. And then I remarked it and moved the entire thing over that 3/32, and so now everything is aligned up in the center. All the strings look right. And this piece here, so I glued this onto this, made it one piece. Okay. So she sounds good. I like it. Now, this little bit here, this is the way I found this box. They'd cut it open. They kind of got off with their knife and struck it a couple of times. I don't know if I'm gonna have to glue these down, secure them. So I'll have to work on that. I can glue all this edge down here, kind of flopped over. All right, that's the Disciple.